Everyone. Welcome to another edition of Bunker Office Hours, a weekly live show brought to you by the team of Bunker Labs, a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs. I'm your host today, the one and only Iron Mike Stedman, joined by my co-host, Amy Morrison, and our special guest, Beth. Beth, what's going on?
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Beth, it's Sudi, right?
Yeah, Sudi. Yeah.
So Beth is a digital marketing and video specialist. So she's going to be talking to us about what she's got going on with her company. But before we jump into that, I'm going to pass it over to my co-host Amy to talk about what's going on in the bunker.
Thanks, Mike. Lots this week. We've got let's start with the USAA 100th anniversary pitch contest. Applications are now open for the Austin pitch competition through February 14th, Valentine's Day. So you can check that out at bunkerlabs.org/USAA-pitch. And then we've also got our friend Lacey Langford is doing the Military Mil Money Conference, and she is looking for speaker submissions. So that is open through February 12th, and we've got the link up there at milmoney.com. I don't know, Mike, do you know anything about the military money conference?
So we've got to do a great job of supporting our community. Lacey Langford, she's been hooking and jabbing in the veteran, entrepreneur, and military space well before I was. She runs an amazing podcast called The Military Money Show, and she's hosting her first conference. And one of the things that is important for a lot of veterans is financial literacy, both in our personal lives and in our businesses. And she's creating a great platform around that. So we want to push those of you within the bunker to show her some support. And again, she's looking for speakers. So just click the link and reach out to her. She's also on LinkedIn and Instagram and everything else. So let's make sure we show her some love from the bunker community.
Yeah, and she presents our USAA financial course on Bunker Online. And then we've also got two bunker events happening this week. We've got a Bunker Labs Roundtable in Phoenix on February 3rd from 5 to 7. And then we've got another roundtable in Kansas City on February 4th. So these are communities we don't have active chapters or locations in right now. We have in the past, and we're trying to reinvigorate, re-engage with those communities. And so if you are interested in those areas, Phoenix and Kansas City, we welcome you to our roundtable event to get connected with Bunker Labs.
Yeah, make sure y'all are getting out in the community, y'all, and spreading this information. So even if you can't benefit from it yourself, go ahead and pass it on. My man, Frank Montu. Frank, man, what's going on? Good to see you tuning into live. Frank runs Crayons Ready to Eat. So I know I got to get you on the podcast. I haven't forgot about you, Frank, but let's get that scheduled. But for today, our guest is Beth, and Beth has got some pretty dope stuff going on at her company. I want to get it right. Elego Studios, correct?
That's right. Yep.
And what we were talking about before we went live is both of us launched our media companies during the pandemic. I started Ironbound Media in, when was it? June of 2020. And you started yours in September. And we're just like, dang, it's already like 2 years.
Yeah, no, the time's gone by so fast. I was working full time up until summer of 2021. So I was moonlighting when I first started the business. And then last summer, we got one more client, and it was enough for me to be able to step away from a full-time job, full-time government job, and start doing the entrepreneurship thing full-time. So I've been, it's been, I guess, more than 6 months now where I've been doing it full-time, and I'm loving every second of it. Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to moonlight. You got to hustle. You know, this is the real entrepreneurship. This ain't just hype. So I'm curious to learn about, video, particularly in digital marketing. But before we do that, take us back. Let our listeners know about your company.
Sure. So my company is called Elego Studios. Elego is a Latin word. It means value. And that's a lot of what we do is we make value videos. So videos that communicate to your customer the value of your product or service. So there's a lot of commercials, a lot of corporate video. But where we really shine is when there's an overall marketing campaign going on. Video is just one piece of it. And we do a really good job because we understand digital marketing, how video is going to fit in and enforce the overall brand. And that's really what we try to focus on. So that's what we're about. Yeah.
Where did you see the opportunity to launch the company?
My husband / business partner, Brian, has been a cinematographer for about 15 years. He went to film school. He's been doing it the whole time. The way the industry typically works is you have a specialty and a producer hires you. They bring the group together, you do the project, and then everyone kind of goes their separate ways until the next project comes along. He, with the pandemic, it was kind of a struggle. A lot of shoots got canceled. But he was also at a point in his career where the only way to grow was either to work more, just do more shoots, or to expand his business into a full service production company. So I've got a logistics background. So that's where I came in, was to help with the production side of things. So he would keep shooting, keep running the camera, keep being a creative, and I would help with logistics. And so now we're able to run projects all by ourselves instead of being part of someone else's project. So that's where the growth came from, and happened to take place during a pandemic. But I think it all happened for a reason. And as things open back up, shoots are coming back, which is great. But we've also, with the virtual world, are doing some virtual shoots and things like that as well.
Love it. And obviously, like, the pandemic has forced a lot of brands to kind of punch above their weight using video content. And there's also been a shift, right? So when the pandemic first hit, right, the bigger production houses, they knew how to do the high quality camera and everything. But literally overnight, they were like, get me the intern who knows how to use, Zoom or these new streaming platforms or whatever else. And so it's almost like video is being democratized. Now, all small brands can create really great, amazing video content. But for someone like yourself who's plugged into the space, I would love for you to talk to our viewers today about how they can leverage video content to drive sales, to create brand awareness, and what are some of the best practices for doing so?
Sure. So I'm going to use some digital marketing terms. Apologize if you're already familiar with these, but there's a digital marketing funnel. And as people learn about your brand, they move down the funnel until they finally buy your product or service. That first level is called awareness. And that's where you see a lot of videos that are like lifestyle branding videos, things that just get your brand out there. Things like people enjoying a beverage on the beach, or that Apple commercial with the quote about the wild ones, where it wasn't selling an Apple computer at all. It was just the brand. And then next you get into an interest phase, followed by the consideration phase, where people know about your product. Now they're thinking, now they're interested. And that's where you want to get more into the details of your product, comparing it to other products with comparison videos, use testimonial videos to have real users talk about what they love about your product, and explainer videos that show how to use the product. So people learn about it, they get interested, they think about buying, and then once they actually buy your product or service, you can even do a thank you video and say, hey, thanks so much for being a part of this community and a part of this brand. And then that encourages ownership with your customers, and they become advocates for your brand to their friends and family also, which is great. So you get this cycle going of sales driving more sales.
Yeah, one of the things that I found is interesting too is back in the day, right? People used to spend all this money doing this really high quality video shoot, and then they just come out with the video and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
Versus saying like, hey, we can create this asset and then use it over and over again. So I was listening to a podcast today and it was talking about core content. Create once, recycle everywhere. Shout out to Fiona Kilacki from My Daily Business Coach podcast. And where I found that working out is, you create this high-end video and you go to social and you post it and you share it. But when you start getting warm referrals from people and they don't know anything about you, having that asset available that you can send in the email saying, hey, we'd love to chat with you soon. In the meantime, here's our X. And I'm just finding great return on that kind of strategy and tactics.
Absolutely. And that's something that we really recommend, and something that we care about doing our due diligence with potential clients, and making sure that they have a plan for their video. A lot of people get excited about their product or service and they're like, awesome, I know I need video, let's go make a video. But if you're not sure how you're going to use it, is it going on your website? Are you sending it to investors? Is it for Kickstarter? Is it for social? Does it need to be vertical or widescreen? There's a lot of questions that can be answered by doing a very thoughtful marketing plan before you get into the video, because the video is going to get expensive, especially with the flashy lifestyle ones. So you really want to have a plan for what you're going to use your video for. And if possible, make more than one video out of the larger video. Like get your 15-second clips out of a 2-minute video so that you can have lots and lots of content.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So with the clients you're working with, obviously, you're a premium production studio. Okay. But, users are on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook. And so when you're creating these assets, where are you using them? And what have you seen work best?
So we like videos that are used in the web. So Hulu commercials maybe are the closest we get to broadcast commercials. Streaming services have really taken over the commercial space. So streaming services are probably the long form commercials that we make end up there. Otherwise, they get broken up and used on social media. We did a project last summer, and we shot for 2 days, and we made 7 different videos in the 10 to 30-second range. And all 7 of those videos had their own purpose. And we had slight changes in the product as we shot each shot. We shot the same sequence with different products, and 7 videos over 2 days. And that was a very intentional and well thought out marketing strategy.
And then, like you said, you can chop that up. So 7 videos chopped up into 15-second clips here and there. You add some text on it, and you really can have almost like a year's worth of content or more.
Yeah, you really can. And it's it's tricky for us because we want to make a high quality video with these big budgets, and one of our main competitors is cell phone. People being able to make really cool videos with just their phone. So to try and close the gap there, when you're buying a real video, if you're hiring a video production company to make a video, make sure you're thinking about everything all the way back down to your social channels and getting your money's worth and making sure that investment covers down on all the different channels that you use to communicate with your customer.
So I want to talk about this too, because again, you're a premium service provider and this concept of leverage, right? So obviously when you start paying upwards of $10,000 plus for marketing assets, this isn't just like, oh, I'm going to make this video and I'm trying to get $100. It's like, we're trying to have this asset that really allows us to punch above our weight. So you take this $10,000 video or something and you send it to investors, and maybe this is something that allows you to get that next, $500K investment, or this is something that allows you to, get that next $500K in revenue. And so for our viewers that are tuning in, I don't want people to get overwhelmed when they start thinking about paying premium services for content creators, because again, you want to tie it to leverage. You want to sit down and write out, if I'm about to spend this money, what is the ROI I'm expecting to get on it? But at the same time, I do want to say this, which gets back to what you were talking about before, the brand awareness. What are you doing to stay top of mind for your ideal buyer? And that is a little bit of a longer play that might not necessarily be tied directly to ROI, like some other asset. So I just want our listeners, our viewers, to be aware of that brand play is a long-term, slow drip. It's to stay top of mind so people know you.
Yep. And I think, I think we try and do it ourselves. And even as a video production company, everything we post isn't a full-blown, full-service video. We post behind-the-scenes photos. We take videos on our phones and post it to accelerate our own brand. So even as a video company, not every video we post was shot with the same camera they used to shoot The Matrix. So that's it. And I think that kind of illustrates the importance of having a range of content, because you do want to be smart with your money.
Absolutely. So what I want to do now is I want to shift gears to our viewers. We've got a video production specialist, digital marketing specialist with us today. So for our entrepreneurs that are tuning in, go ahead and post your questions for Beth, and let's get those teed up, and we'll do our best to answer them right here on the live video. And while we're doing that, Beth, is there any book recommendation or resources that you would recommend for our viewers as they start thinking about their digital content strategy?
Sure. I mean, there are a lot of blogs out there. So the terms you want to look for are digital marketing and then the digital marketing funnel. There's a couple different versions of the funnel out there, but you're in the right spot if you see awareness, interest, consideration, conversion. Those are a lot of times they get associated with e-commerce websites, but that really applies to any brand, any product or service. So you're in the right place if you're looking at a digital marketing funnel. And then I'm happy to consult with anyone who's got questions about video, about if your goal is conversions versus brand awareness, you're going to want a different kind of video. So we're happy to talk more about that with anyone that's got questions. But then randomly, book recommendation. My mouth was hanging open reading this book. It's called Salt, A World History. And it's about the history of salt, and it's so fascinating. So if you need a break from entrepreneurship and you just want to get immersed in something super interesting, that's a book I would recommend.
Love it. So Reggie Ordonez, our head of marketing here at Bunker Labs, wants to know, what are some of the best practices that you recommend for early stage founders to maximize video production?
So I really recommend getting your marketing together, getting a branding guide, picking your colors, getting your font, music, make a Pinterest lookbook, things that really speak to what your brand is about and what you want, who your target customer is. It all comes back to who your target market is, who your ideal customer is. So if you've got that figured out, it makes planning a video that is going to speak to that person so much easier. We offer script writing services and creative services, and the more information we get based on who you're trying to communicate to, the better. So I would say roll it back a step, get your marketing lined up, and really have a clear picture of who your customer is. Give them a name, give them a photo, choose what their hobbies are, really get into the details of who that person is, and it'll make any content you make a lot easier to bring together.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, I'm a brand guy, right? So when people think of brand, they think logos and all of that. That's an aspect of it, but I'm more focused on the perfect customer. And I'm blown away by the number of entrepreneurs I come across who have some intern running their social media, or worse, paying some firm like $3,500 a month to run their social media. And you ask them, like, did they go any strategy with you? Like, who your perfect customer is? What's your message to your target market? Oh, we're just going to post this random content. That's a bad ROI. So Jamal J. Sampson wants to know, Beth, do you have any experience working with DoD marketing collateral? And if so, do you have any takeaways that stood out to you?
So I don't have any direct experience with the DoD just yet. We have replied to a couple of sources sought on the system for award management, which is the system that the government uses to hire contractors. So we're getting into that space. But as a former band kid, I played the trumpet. The Army Strong commercials, those were amazing. We figured out how to play the song from those Army Strong commercials for football games and basketball games, and we just had a blast. So I thought that was one that was really well done. It really spoke to a culture and kind of raising the brand awareness for the Army. So I thought they nailed it with that one. I hope that answers the question.
Perfect. We got time for 2 more questions, y'all. I'm going to go to Ken Lewis. Wants to know, what platforms do you recommend to focus energy on in the beginning to increase awareness, especially with a limited to no budget? TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc.
So I'm going to kind of leverage my answer to the previous question, which is about your ideal customer. If your ideal customer is a Gen Z influencer, someone who's maybe in college, go to the platform that customer's on. If your if your customer is maybe a little older, maybe they're not into TikTok. I mean, I'm 36. I can't handle TikTok. It's too much. It's too much for me. So if I'm your ideal client, I'm not on TikTok. I would recommend going to where your customer is. And if you're not sure where your customer is, try and find them and ask them. Doing interviews with potential users is huge.
And Ken, I just want to piggyback off of that too. Engage with that user, your perfect customer, on their preferred platform. So like she just said, right? Like if you're doing biz dev to some CEO that's generating like $50 million plus in revenue or something, he might not be hanging out on TikTok. He just probably is not, you know? So you posting and putting all your stuff there, the juice isn't just worth the squeeze. But if they're on LinkedIn, right, which is a very professional platform, right, rather than just posting your stuff randomly, go out and engage their content, start to build awareness in that way. That's my recommendation, right? Because we want you to succeed. And just because everyone is doing it doesn't mean you have to. So just because you see people on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these other places, that doesn't necessarily apply to you. You can close really good deals on one platform, focused on one main target market. All right. So that's my recommendation for that. Last question. Everyone wants to know how they can follow your work, Beth, and
awesome.
How can they connect for a consultation?
Yeah, thanks. So in the chat, I see there's our website and our Instagram. If you go to our website, we do have a booking link that's hooked up to all of our calendars. So if you find some time on that booking link on elegostudios.com, we will definitely be able to connect. We have it set up for a 45-minute strategy call, but if you need to, if you only have 15 minutes, you want to reach out, you can DM us on Instagram or connect with me directly on LinkedIn. I'm super happy to talk to anybody who's got questions. I would love to help.
She did pretty good, y'all. I'm surprised because she's a West Point graduate. You
come on.
West Pointers, right? Like, one smart enough to get in the Naval Academy. No, but in all seriousness, show her some love. This is the kind of talent we got right here in the bunker. You don't got to go pay some outside consultants. Reach out to Beth, connect with her, and let's keep building and growing the veteran entrepreneur and military spouse community. Now, my book recommendation for the week is The Embedded Entrepreneur. I forgot the guy's name. Arvid Call. And the reason embedded entrepreneurship is so important, it goes back to what I was saying before, connecting and engaging with people you want to be around, that you want to do business with, right? People do business with those they know, like, and trust. And you know what's an easy way to get people to know, like, and trust you? Be a part of their community. Engage with them, add value, be a go-to resource. And so, join the Slack channels, join the Facebook groups, go where your perfect customer is spending their time so that you also can make sure that your values align with theirs. So check out the book, The Embedded Entrepreneur, and also make sure you listen to the Transition Podcast. I've got some great content on there. Like I said, some people tuning in today are probably going to be get interviewed on the show. But particularly, we've got content around setting your quarterly goals, dialing in your brand, and setting up your marketing plan. I'm bringing a lot of great content that's evergreen, that's useful for you all out there. So make sure you subscribe to the Transition Podcast and have a newsletter that goes out each week sharing the latest episode. So if we could go ahead and put that in the chat. And I also want to make sure I acknowledge our virtual sponsors for today, the MetLife Foundation and the Gannett Foundation, for making office hours possible, as well as the transition. The MetLife Foundation is committed to supporting veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs. In addition, the foundation also provides mentorship and financial health resources to veterans and military spouses transitioning into the workforce. And A Community Thrive is a program funded by the Gannett Foundation as part of the USA Today Network, which invests in community building initiatives across the country with the goal of creating positive change through service to historically marginalized or under-resourced groups. So shout out to the MetLife Foundation and the Gannett Foundation. And as always, make sure you guys are checking out bunkerlabs.org. Sign up, get involved in the community. Beth is a Veterans in Residence alumni. I'm a VR alumni. I probably did every program in Bunker. I'm jumping off today to teach to the Breaking Bears Breaking Bears and Entrepreneur Workshop Series. So again, these are all programs that you have available to you. Just make sure you're plugged into the ecosystem by signing up for our newsletter at bunkerlabs.org. Beth, thanks again for joining us today. And for everyone that's tuning in, peace, love, and have a great rest of your week.